Big Bucks, your Sevenberg GM. Folks, I want to thank you all for taking some time out of your life to come over here and check us out at Sevenberg. Really appreciate you. I want to give a shout out to each and every one of you who have liked and subscribed to the page, shared it to your cousin, your auntie, your grandmama. Really appreciate that as we continue to grow this channel. Top of the North, 4-1. And when you get to the top and you Mike T, you can say what you want.
Great. What you guys been doing these days?
Struggled on Thursday nights recently, particularly on the road. Is there anything you can put your finger on as a through line? Anything you do?
I'm only concerned about 2025. I got my ass kicked in a lot of ways over the last 19 years.
All right, next person.
Great. What you guys been doing these days? What you guys been doing these days?
I'm going to tell y'all now, y'all need to learn to appreciate Michael Pettyway Tomlin. You know, they say you don't really miss something till it's gone. Pittsburgh media and these fake fans, these Fredos, Fire Tomlins, y'all need to start showing some appreciation, all right? Back to the top of the North. You know, all I hear about right now in the national media is everybody's got injuries. It's all these injuries. How about we go back and look at training camp? How about we go back and look at how the Steelers prepare and all the scrutiny that the coaching staff and Tomlin takes for how he prepares his guys. And yeah, we had some guys go down, but if you look around the league, you see a lot of these injuries because these guys really aren't ready, because they're not prepared. It's like the preseason has really ended after the first 3 games, and this is where Latrobe comes into play. We still win 4 games. Like it or hate it, it's very difficult to win in the NFL with injuries or without injuries, and that don't got nothing to do with us winning 4 games. We're going to continue to take these ugly wins. I said we would go 13-4 this season, and I really thought we could be 5-0 after the first 5 games going into week 6. We're one Caleb Johnson fumble away from really being able to bring that to fruition, but I like where we are right now. Before we jump into week 4 through 6 action, I want to go back and go over the picks. Started the last season, and I really enjoyed it. Not that easy to do. I know people think it's simple to just make these picks. Week 4, we were 13-3, 45-19, 70.3% at that point. Week 5 wasn't that kind. We went 9-5 in the bye week, dropped down to 54-24, 69.2%. And then this week, 11-4, 65-28, right about 69.8. Not really that happy with all of that. As we review the film over the last couple of games, I really spent a lot of time watching the first 3 games, and I felt like we really didn't have an identity. We didn't have a one-inch punch. We didn't really show what the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to be about this season. I felt like we didn't have a jab. Like you just, as a good fighter, you got to have a good jab to keep people up off you. And maybe in Arthur Smith's defense, he was really just trying to do a lot of things to see what we look like doing those things the first 3 games. When we got to week 4 in Dublin against the Vikings, and I got the opportunity to see what Arthur Smith pulled out as a solution, I was impressed. I was impressed on him taking our weakness with our left tackle problem and turning that into a strength. I got to give him his props on that, because I thought that the solution to our left tackle problem was not on the roster. If you've been watching the Steelers, you know we have a left tackle problem. And if you haven't watched my previous videos, I'm going to give you a short synopsis here, a short outline of some of the things that really bother me about Broderick Jones. I suggested that we make a trade for Braxton Jones, who at the time was starting left tackle for the Bears, who was currently their 2nd string left tackle and still available. But hey, it's still a lot of time until we get to the trade deadline, and maybe the Steelers knew all along that this was their plan. And now, when we look at Broderick's technique, or lack of technique, because he never gets under his pads and drives a player anywhere. He right now looks like the prissiest left tackle in the NFL. In fact, we're going to go on a BJP. We're going to go on a Broderick Jones pancake watch. It's almost like he's playing patty cake with the defenders. Like, we are going to actually look for Broderick Jones pancakes, and I'm sure I'm going to find a sponsor somewhere locally that is going to give something away free every time Broderick Jones gets a pancake. The technique is abysmal. And this is dictated bad grandpa's play. Get the ball out your hands fast just to save your life, you know. The solution is the heavy 13X personnel. where they bring in the extra lineman, and then Darnell's coming in and becoming what I believe is a new position, left tackle and a half. That's LTN half. Because Darnell Washington clearly is the X factor here in the offense that allows for such a mismatch. Having Darnell as such a great blocker, I think that really hides Project Jones. And it's brilliant. It's simple and it's brilliant. And I believe that this is the way that the Steelers are going to dominate the rest of the road. You know, in the preseason, I was very sure that Rodgers would throw for 4,000 yards, 36 touchdowns. But as I've watched what the team really is and seen what the chemistry looks like, watching the new scheme, watching this heavy 13X, watching these heavy sets and the usage of Darnell Washington, I really don't care how many yards he throws for. I love this. I love it. It's old man ball. At first, I kind of thought, man, we're trying to put duct tape on a rocket launcher. But after really watching the film and really looking at what we have, I think it's brilliant. It's protect the quarterback, get the ball out fast, and while we have the guns, we have the weapons, we're going to motion right back into smack you in the face. And that's Pittsburgh Steelers football. That's the thing I think that really makes us different than everybody else. And then while you're looking over here at the left hand, bam, we're going to hit you with a shot. We're going to hit you with DK with a slam. And he takes it to the house. This play right here, 2nd and 9, you got left tackle and a half in motion, and you see he's going to get a chip. And, you know, KJ drops his pass, but he'll make this play in the future. What I love about this, though, is that you can look down the field, or we can just get our back in the flat against your linebacker or safety. I'm taking that all day. KG is probably the best running back when it comes to one-on-one with a defender. Name somebody in the NFL that can guard him. I love it. 2nd and 11, and we got heavy 12 personnel, CA3 in motion. Everybody knows he can take the top off. Look at how easily this middle is open. The power to the left side of our set is amazing. You have to respect running the ball to the left. That's why you got such a lane over here on the right side. One of the reasons why I think we're going to go deep this year is because of Ben Skoranek. I mean, look at how he comes around here. He's a headhunter, man. Ben Skoranek, Hayward, when these guys come out here and do the dirty work, I want y'all to really pay attention to him when you watch the film. Because when he comes in motion, he's got bad intentions, man. I love it. He's coming out there to put a hat on you. And he does a great job at blocking. You know, when we picked up KG this summer on the social streets, everybody was like, oh, he's a backup, he's a third string, nothing to talk about. I had a chance to talk with Coach Faulkner, man, and he was excited about the potential of KG and what his room was going to look like this summer. And KG went off. 19 carries for 99 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns rushing, 6 catches for 35, 134 yards of scrimmage. This is what we do. We take those people that you don't appreciate, we see what they can do, and we put them in the right position to win. And KG was a problem. Everybody talked about he was, this outside guy, he's a receiving back, and he ran up the gut on y'all. Coach Faulkner just turns out good running backs, man. He's one of the best running back coaches in the NFL. And KG makes us dangerous. Nobody saw KG running in between the tackles. Even at Latrobe, I was like, yo, y'all gonna run KG up the middle? He was like, man, KG is gonna be a serious part of this offense. And the Vikings game in Dublin just proved it. Like, this is a serious 3-headed monster that y'all gonna have to deal with. First and goal here for the touchdown, and you can literally see the wheel being taken out of the Viking defenders. You know, they're looking for people to block down here. This is exciting. You can't love football and love Steelers ball and not be excited about this. Week 6, it seems like we just picked up right up where we left off, being physical and violent in the run game.
Well, shit, we're trying to emulate what you bring, Coach. You know, you all those years ago, you
heavy 13X on 1st and 10, and we motioned DK to the fullback. Truly, I think this was going to go to the house. The field conditions were a little poor, and you can see Connor slips out here, but I think if he gets around the corner, man, you're going to see this again. I guarantee you, this is Pittsburgh Steelers football. You got a top-tier defense over here on the other side, and the first play we out here trying to rain down your throat. Maxwell Park Tequila is more than a spirit. It's a story. Inspired by the vibrant community of Maxwell Park in Oakland, our tequila honors tradition, expert craftsmanship, and the moments that bring us together. This segment of the Sevenberg GM is sponsored by Maxwell Park Tequila. Maxwell Park is a luxury, premium tequila, hand-harvested from Blue Weber agave. Maxwell Park Tequila is more than a drink. It's a tribute to heritage and craftsmanship. Its process embodies authenticity and the connections that bring people together. Don't be late to the party. Order yours today. And remember, with Maxwell Park Tequila, you own the night and sip with confidence. The headhunter out here, Ben Scarani, kick this to the outside, give it back an opportunity to take it out wider. One thing that I've learned about Mike Tomlin is that he is a master message manipulator. It's a way that a lot of coaches do not. And a lot of times he does it like the old folks used to tell you. I don't know if you had some old folks that raised you, but they used to talk about you in your face, and you didn't even know they was talking about you in your face until later. Well, wait a minute, hold on, they was talking about me. He uses the media to talk about how the Browns defense chews with a closed mouth. And I think that's one of the big messages that he was trying to display to his offense, was that you got to be risk averse. We can't put ourselves in third and long. We can't put ourselves in situations where we can let the game turn on a big play. But I love how he used that message to talk about the Browns defense. But if you look at the offense, and that's exactly what they were about. We're not going to get ourselves in trouble. We're not going to get ourselves in third and long. We're not going to put our quarterback in positions where he has issues. And I got to talk about this block that Jaylen puts on Myles Garrett. I might have to make that a reel later. It's an amazing play by Jay, RB1. Love it. Love to play this guy. You see a lot more than just simple complexity. I waited a while to kind of get to the offense. The first couple games really was focusing on defense. After really looking at where the offense is, identity has been shown. It's really what Tomlin said earlier, is physicality on both sides of the ball, man. It's not lacking physicality. One of the things I think Moneybag Art is doing early is he's erasing the myths. He's erasing the things that you can say the Steelers didn't do previously. You're going to have a receiving running back, and he's not going to run up the middle. He's not going to come in there and block. I think that's important because he's resetting what these players are being known for. And as a defense, when you game plan against this, you no longer can say, oh, when Darnell comes in the game, he's just going to block. They're going to run to the left. What he is showing as the identity of the offense, you can't stop. You can't line up and put your cornerback on the island. You can't leave DK out there or Calvin out there when he comes back without somebody over the top. You can't do it. You're going to have to play safe. I think that in the Vikings game, you saw that Flo couldn't really attack. And the reason he couldn't attack was because they going to run down your throat. And you already saw what happened early in that game with DK. And here we have left tackle on the half, moves over to the left side, and you got big, heavy set. Then you bring the motion back to the right, and it looks like they're going to run this ball to the left. And this is just simple complexity. You're going to fake it, and then we're going to get this guy to the flats with the blocker. The finish is what I like about it. Spencer Anderson, number 74, third-year player out of Maryland, is out here trying to get to the money. He's the fill-in at left tackle that I didn't think we had on the roster, and I love how he's stepping up and showing improvement and finishing this. There's layers to these levels with simple complexity. Moneybag Art is just laying down a foundation for what this offense is going to look like. I don't know what the refs was on this play. This was definitely a pass interference. I think it's Ward over here grabs DK's right arm. That was crazy. This is what we were all looking for when we got Jonnu, was the ability to have this heavy 13 set, and you got left tackle and a half coming over here to the left side, and then we're running the jet sweep to the right. I mean, this is tough. Into this game, the Browns had the number 3 defense, the number 1 ranked defensive line, and the number 1 ranked rushing defense. And on 1st and 10, Jaylen's out here taking 9. I think everybody's starting to see what Coach Faulkner saw when he picked Jaylen up. Last year, I knew he was RB1. He undoubtedly was the best third down blocking back in the league. He's taking that chip on his shoulder and trying to show that he is one of the best running backs in the NFL. I love what he's doing by protecting the ball at the end of his runs. A lot of time, he just would go with reckless abandon and sometimes led to some fumbles. I think he plays with this violence that will sometimes leave him susceptible to taking big hits. But This running back loves delivering violence. That's what he's here for. In the interview I did with him earlier this summer, he flat out said, if I can't be violent, I won't play football. And I love it about him, man. He is a no-nonsense runner. One of the most underrated things about Jaylen is his vision. I think this is something that really set him and Najee apart last year, was naturally, he's a running back. He loved violence, but he naturally is eating up ground and space between himself and the defenders. And I think as the season wears on, you're going to start to see this protective spin that he's doing, this roll where he's trying to really just secure the ball. That's going to turn into daylight, because this is an opportunity in the third quarter, where you got to realize as an offensive line, this is when fat meat is greasy. This is when you follow up the play and you lean on somebody and you really start to take the soul out of the defense. You got 49, the slowest linebacker in the North out here putting a hit on your RB1, and that shouldn't be happening. Bad Grandpa shouldn't be out there trying to get in the mix. This is an opportunity where, as an offensive line, Roger, you didn't block nobody on the left side. You get down there and finish. You never know what could happen. But this is your opportunity to shine as an offensive line and do what you do best: run block. Now I'm gonna say this, and I really like to hear some of your thoughts. I feel like if Mason McCormick and Broderick, and I'm not even going to put it on them this season. I feel like this season, if they just continue to grow and play and come together and stay healthy, that's a win. But if next season they come back to Latrobe and they look like Troy looked at Latrobe at the beginning, then we're going to build a dynasty. I mean that wholeheartedly. I feel like if they make a commitment in the offseason to come back and look like Troy looked, that's because it allows us to go out there and maybe get a cornerback in the first. But like they say, if it was a fifth, we all be drunk. Hope it's not a strategy, and she does not work on Sundays. You feel me? You gotta be excited about this touchdown, Connor Haywood. You got Bad Grandpa coming out here doing Bad Grandpa-like things. Connor Haywood in the back of the end zone making a clutch catch. And Jaylen out there blocking, man. This is exactly what we signed up for in the offseason, is touchdowns in the red zone. And I'm happy for Cam's little brother to come out here and get this touchdown after all the dirty work that he's been doing. And then once we hit you in the mouth with all the running game, and we've solidified that we are going to run down your throat, look at this. The safety over the top was eyes in the backfield. And then you got a perfect pass by Bad Grandpa and DK out here being DK. But now he's got a little bit more time because we've worn those guys down. They've taken these shots. They're not really as hype as they was early in the game. One thing about Aaron Rodgers, Bad Grandpa in that arm, he's going to put that ball where it needs to be. And you're going to see we have a similar situation here in Dublin against the Vikings. 3rd and 2, man-to-man, taking that shot. And here I think you get to see a little bit of that preseason work that Bad Grandpa and DK did out in Cali. So at this point in the season, he knows where that ball's got to be, and he's out there tracking it. And I'm taking that against everybody in the NFL. In fact, I think that for the rest of the season, DK doesn't even see a cornerback that's better than the cornerbacks that he's seen. Again, now it's the fourth quarter. You done got worn down. It's unfair because Campbell played 2 games this week. We're attacking you. Double move and you gone. Again, I don't know where the safety was at. The safety's nowhere in the picture here. You can't do this against us. You cannot play man-to-man without somebody over the top of DK. He's going to be a problem for you. Again, simple complexity. Punch you in the mouth. You're going to come down in the box to try to stop the bleeding. And what we're going to see is more beautiful passes like this from Aaron Rodgers to DK Metcalf and touchdowns in the red zone. The final thing that stuck out to me in the film was the split back formation. You see it in week 4. You got Johnny in motion here to the left, a little bit of a wheel route, nobody there for him. And then against the Browns week 6, split backs here. We got a play action, the action coming out here to the right, just to hit the man that's the crosser over the field from the left side. I'm looking forward to see how Arthur uses this in the future and how much of a problem it could cause to defenses. You already know my pick for week 7 is the Steelers, and this game is one where we just can't win. We got to go in and make a statement. There's a lot of yapping going on. I really want to see the defense come out here and shut all that up. period, point blank. This has got to be a game where we go out here and make a statement, not just to the North and not just to the Panthers of the North out here yapping, where we make a statement that the Pittsburgh Steelers are a juggernaut. This is a game where all that talk we did in the preseason about one of the best defenses, where you make the Panthers of the North feel you. When Mike T is out here publicly saying these things, I think it's time to be about that action, boss. This is definitely going to be a Black Air Force One's night.
I was happy. That's my only comment.
You know, to be honest, it was shocking to me. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me or us, because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feelings.
Subscribe to the page so you can catch my interview with RB1, Jaylen Warren.